We've had quite a few incidents in the last period in South Sudan, as it's been very volatile. We've had facilities looted during fighting or after fighting, where we were not able to provide for at least a number of months and sometimes longer the healthcare to the population. So our first instinct is not to retreat, it is to react to medical needs that are resulting from a security situation like that. We work in active war zones. We negotiate a lot with the people that are actually the warring parties to make sure that they know what we stand for and how we do it. The risk to our South Sudanese colleagues in the mission is always much greater than to the foreign staff that we bring in. 1.5 years, we've lost 12 of our staff, not in our facilities, but just as they are part of the population and caught in the fighting. When we have an incident and we have to evacuate, generally the local staff, South Sudanese staff that is from the area itself, doesn't evacuate. They retreat, they go into the bush or into the swamps as it works in South Sudan. But what they do and what we support them with is to continue the care for the patients that are more or less fleeing with them. It's far from ideal. It's not what we want, but we have a number of locations where today we are still providing drugs by canoes to our staff, which is still present, to bring at least the most needed care to an area where we had to leave. Pragmatic solutions like that are the only thing sometimes left for us to do. What springs to mind is the crisis in Juba, the capital. It was a Friday night, late. We were sending a number of people away in a car already because we knew there was tensions, and suddenly a shootout started. It started fairly close to where we were, like a few hundred meters distance. Fighting erupted between two sides of the government and its opposition. The first focus is always to keep your team safe, get the teams into safety. Then we immediately go into the mode to react to the needs of the population in town during the crisis. Of course, in the immediate aftermath, people had fled their homes and went into churches and big facilities where they were not treated. There was no doctors and nobody around. So we set up small facilities to deal with that. We did a surgical program for people that were wounded throughout the fighting. The challenges we faced on reacting to the needs in town immediately after are linked to the security. We knew the threats, we knew the soldiers were still in town, but still we needed to go to the places where the fighting had happened. We relied on the understanding of the white cars with the flags are being humanitarian. The reputation of MSF is quite extensive. Everybody knows what we do and what we stand for because of the last 30 years of our presence in the country. The challenge we face now in the country is that a very hopeful period of peace that came along a few years ago has shattered, and a lot of people in the country do not believe peace will come anymore. Other actors have left or cannot access population anymore. That is a challenge to MSF, because already the biggest mission worldwide, trying to respond to new areas, new needs, new fighting, while it's virtually impossible to let go of old programs because they're in places where there is also fighting or no capacity at all to deal with healthcare.